So there comes a time where something so massive, so historical happens that it breaks the internet. Gear 5 is in the anime, baby. Oh my god. You know what this reminds me of, quite honestly, because I just watched it. I had to watch it on YouTube before the men in red took everybody to the big house who posted on YouTube, because Crunchyroll is down, everywhere else is down, right? Okay, so what's so cool about this, I love all these sound effects and visual gags they added to this. It's an elevation of the manga, even though things get a little like scruff in some areas. I think that plays to the whole cartoony nature of Gear 5. I love how we see the visual sort of waveform of his heartbeat as it activates. Really cool. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Goku first turned Super Saiyan. Because this moment in shonen anime history and in manga history from like a year ago, these moments are precious because you don't get a lot of them. I don't know when the next one of these is actually going to be, because there's nothing out right now that even holds a candle to how massive One Piece is. So it feels like the Super Saiyan transformation, but in the exact opposite way, because whereas the Super Saiyan transformation was an amalgamation of all of Goku's rage and anguish and training and all these emotions fueled towards the loss of Krillin, towards Frieza, Luffy's is literally coming into his own. It's becoming the deity of liberation, the deity of freedom. And as such, he is now at his supposed peak. He is goofy Luffy. Instead of anger, he is now a being of pure joy. He is the joy boy. It's amazing. It's simply amazing. I love how they animated how Kaido's eyes pop out of his head when Luffy grabs him. One thing they did do that I noticed, which I really liked, is that in the part of the manga where Luffy becomes muscular, they kind of added a little sugar onto that. It looks like he's actually bulking up, which I liked. I like that a lot. Really cool. And it's also giving a very clear indication of how his powers work. So if he's in contact with something, right? If he's sitting on something that he's affected with his rubber abilities or his Nika abilities, which that was done very well, by the way. I like how the ground literally stretched out and then bounced back at Kaido, and Kaido turned charcoal black. That was great. That was amazing. He turned charcoal black because he got hit with his own blast breath. That's simply incredible. But yeah, I really do like how they animate the ground around Luffy, how it's constantly moving because it's being affected by his abilities. Now, before this came out, I saw a very interesting video on TikTok, and it's that the whole turning the terrain into rubber thing isn't really a native ability of the Nika ability. It's like, it's not because that's a built-in thing. Luffy is doing that because that's all he's known how to do. That's the only thing he has relationship with, is being rubber. So that's why he turns the ground into rubber, because that's all he's known. Because normally that's a very paramecia-like ability to have, especially when it comes to awakening. And Zoans, by and large, even those who are awakened, as you will find out, Anime Watcher, in the next arc, they don't do that. So really, his mythical Zoan ability is just TOONFORCE. He's affecting things in the way that he wishes to affect things, which is incredible. And you'll see more of that when we get to the next arc. But yeah, this was an immaculate showing of what I thought it would be. I love all the goofy sound effects. I love how bouncy and buoyant he is on screen. Very cool. All of this is amazing. I like how, too, from episode 1070 into 1071, I remember back in the day when the manga came out, everybody thought the white bit was resin, but no, all that has been steam from the start. It's all steam, which makes a lot of sense because from Gear 2nd all the way up to this point, he has had a relationship with steam, which relates back to the whole Mickey Mouse cartoon about how Mickey Mouse's first cartoon was called Steamboat Willie. So yeah, Luffy has been a cartoon from very early on. I've done several videos about that, like how he has had TOONFORCE from the start. I'll put that around here somewhere. But yeah, this was amazing. Simply amazing. I was captivated. I enjoyed this immensely, and it's only going to get better for those of you who watch the anime and don't read the manga. It's over the top. It's pretty good. It keeps going higher and higher and higher. My goodness, they did this good. They did. They really did. It was a bit quick to follow in some parts, but I liked it a lot. I really did. I do wonder, how are they going to do some future scenes? Because that's what I was wigging out about, because there's a particular scene that happens during this fight in which Luffy does something that is uncharacteristic of anybody in One Piece. So I can't wait to see how that is animated, because it's a really, really cool scene. I'm not sure if it's episode 1072, but because I'm not sure how these things correlate with the manga, but we'll have to see. And I was waiting for the classic silhouette of him holding his face when it says fifth, and they run through all the gears up to this point. I thought that was a nice touch. They did it good. I have no complaints. They really did it well. I wasn't expecting it to go over this well. So kudos to Toei. This was good, and I hope the quality stays at this level or possibly goes up, because this was not a bad start at all. This was a immaculate introduction. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. It's going to be probably easier. It's going to be easier to view it later on, because, like I said, it was a whole mess trying to actually view this episode because Crunchyroll's down. But yeah, these moments don't come often. It was a big to-do as well when this came out in the manga. So Crunchyroll being down is to be expected. This is amazing. I'm so happy that we've gotten up to this point. And shout out to the dub, because they're up to episode 1000 now. So they'll get to this point soon enough. So I can't wait to see how this is in the dub. But yeah, this was great. This was actually fantastic. I enjoyed every moment. I am interested to see how other things play out. What did annoy me, I will say, this is my only negative thing. I know it's in the manga where Hiyori talks to Orochi, and then Kanjiro's weird ink flame apparition burns him up. Oh, we spent too much time on that. I know that's important for the narrative, and that's important for her story and Orochi's story. I wanted to get back to Goofy Luffy. I just did. But yeah, I think it's great. I've done some videos on what I think is coming in the future, and I've done some videos on how he's had TOONFORCE from the very beginning. So if you are interested, please check those out. And I'm wondering, because we haven't gone that far in the manga with this ability, there's one thing that's very important, but I won't spoil it. I really do wonder where this is going to go in the future, though, because for all intents and purposes, yeah, this is just TOONFORCE. So it's going to be interesting how far this is actually going to go. I do like how the five elders depicted the gum fruit and just outed it as a cover-up for the human fruit model Nika. That was cool, same as in the manga, so I wasn't surprised by that. That was pretty much expected. I didn't expect close-ups of the fruit during the explanation. That was kind of cool. That was a nice artistic touch. How they kept flashing back to it. I like that. I think that was cool. Yeah, I'm really interested just in the future of this ability, both in the anime and the manga, because it's a very fascinating ability. I do like how basically everything went with it. I just don't have any complaints. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we don't do anime stuff here. We usually don't. This is my first time really talking about an anime episode specifically and not relating it to the manga or whatever. But yeah, give me your thoughts.